The Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion pass. Yeah, remember that? Well, we're supposed to be getting a part 2, and it's going to come out soon? Let's see what the official website has to say about that, because we have the Crown Tundra Part 2 scheduled for release during fall of 2020. So at least we have a nice little release window, but this has been unchanged since the announcement back in January. And that's not good, because we're almost in fall 2020, and the last time we had information about the Crown Tundra was over 3 months ago. So what I want to do for this video is just kind of break down everything that we have and know about the potential release window of the Crown Tundra just based off of existing information. Like if you go to the eShop and you go to download the expansion pass, it says estimated release date 11/30. But that's not going to be the release date. A lot of people are saying like, oh, Nintendo already showed the release date. It's going to be on November 30th. But that's just a placeholder, especially when something like at the end of the year, end of the month, these pretty much never happen or never turn out to be the actual release date. We can even look at the Isle of Armor. If you checked out the DLC, the Isle of Armor before it came out said release date June 30th, 2020, or like estimated release date June 30th, and then the real release date turned out to be mid-June. And another interesting thing is like as we got closer to the release, they kind of updated it to where like, oh, it's coming out late June. So you're thinking, oh, June 25th, 28th, 29th, something like that, but it actually turned out to be closer to the middle of the month. So even saying fall 2020 doesn't mean it's only going to be sometime in November, but this is kind of good because at least it hasn't been updated. The global pandemic hasn't slowed it down or like delayed it, and that's also backed up by the data mine. So that's where this video is kind of going to get crazy because we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Like this goes back to June when the Isle of Armor came out, and the Crown Tundra, as I keep on saying, just works inside of your current copy of Pokemon Sword and Shield if you've downloaded the DLC. All the fly locations and the effective Crown Tundra map, as well as tons of gameplay, is already functioning inside of the game. So when you think about it, it's not like they put that in the day before the Isle of Armor came out and that's all they had of the Crown Tundra. No, the release version was finalized months ago. So the Crown Tundra has a lot of finish behind it, just needs the polish and all the extra details that they intentionally scrubbed to not give away the entire DLC. So it's like, yeah, it actually doesn't seem like they announced it. You know, it's not like we go back to January, they announced it because they just started working on it. No, a lot of this stuff was already pretty far ahead. And that even goes into Pokemon Home. We had information about the Pokemon movesets with Pokemon Home in like February for the Isle of Armor. Maybe not that early, but you know, it was like months before the Isle of Armor came out, we actually figured out a lot about the Isle of Armor from Pokemon Home, because the information was there. Now, sometime in November also makes a lot of sense, because that's just going to be our yearly Pokemon release schedule. That we had part 1, kind of like a halfway through point, didn't really feel like a full game. That's the point, we're paying $30 for 2 parts of DLC. I think the Isle of Armor is easily worth $15 compared to the base Pokemon Sword and Shield, and it's just a good amount of content. So then you add even more in the Crown Tundra just from the data mine and other information we've seen about it. Crown Tundra is supposed to be the bigger expansion, and it's like, yeah, I guess we wait a year, we effectively get a paced out 3rd version instead of, you know, Pokemon Gun version. Now we got the DLC, and then it comes out in November. That kind of makes a lot of sense. And it's also kind of in line with the lack of trailers we've been getting, because nothing for over 3 months. There we go. Explore the Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra. So that gave us the release date for the Isle of Armor as well. Just all kinds of weird stuff. All kinds of weird stuff. But nothing since then. And that's kind of the weird part for me. I thought we were getting an August trailer or September trailer. I guess September is still like possible. And then they're going to maybe give us the release date for sometime in November, maybe open it up. But it seems like we're going to get the same treatment, that until the very last minute, we aren't going to know when it's coming out, because we had this, you know, June 5th, been talking about this trailer. Well, that's when we finally found out the Isle of Armor is available June 17th. So, less than 2 weeks. I don't know if Game Freak's going to kind of run the same idea, because yeah, based off the data mine, there's actually not an insane amount of new stuff that's going to be in the Crown Tundra, and maybe they don't want to spoil it at all, because there's going to be this DNA splicer thing where there's 2 legendary Pokemon we don't know about it that fuse with Calyrex, and that's kind of all the big information that we don't really know at this time. So it's like, do they give that away in a trailer? Do they just kind of show off the Crown Tundra, some extra finalized things, maybe like Ultra Beast and stuff and how the missions are going to work, and then they just kind of leave the rest of it for when it comes out? Well, that means there's only one trailer until the release of the Crown Tundra, and if they're going to give the release date similar to the last trailer, it could just be like October-ish, and then they say see you in November, maybe early November, maybe late November. Maybe we get the trailer late September and it's actually an October release for the Crown Tundra, because it just says fall. And after the shenanigans they pulled with the Isle of Armor, when they were just like, oh yeah, June 17th, that felt way earlier than I was expecting. Like, surprisingly earlier than I was expecting. So I was like, oh, late June, so they're going to push it to the edge, kind of like how we've seen with Pokemon game releases. But if they're ready to put these things out early, I think October is definitely on the table, and that just goes back to what we've seen. Pokemon Sword and Shield Expansion Pass, January 9th. What about Pokemon Direct 2013, January 8th? The reveal of Pokemon X and Y. Because everything is kind of offset by a month in a really weird way. Why didn't the Pokemon Company make this their Pokemon Day anniversary announcement? Because that's massive for the expansion pass. They just wanted to get it out there, and as we've learned, there was already a lot of information. Like they were already well ahead in development for the expansion pass by the time it came out. So now that we're here, are they going to do the thing where it's like, oh, we got this a month earlier? Normally we get a main series Pokemon game announcement on or around Pokemon Day, and then it comes out in November. Or we get like the sequel remake announcement in May, June, and then it comes out in November. But when did Pokemon X and Y come out, guys? October. I think just because this exists. We got the random early January announcement for Pokemon X and Y, a main series Pokemon game. This is effectively going to be a follow-up to it, announced in effectively the same time. I think October is always on the table for Pokemon releases. Now, this did have something special because it was the unification of a global Pokemon release, and they just kind of pushed it out there. So, October is going to be interesting. That means if we get the September trailer, like, are we going to wait 4 months from Pokemon trailer to Pokemon trailer while we have this massive expansion pass? That just seems like way too long. Like, there's enough information for a couple more trailers to be put out there, even with what we already know from the data mine. You know, we could get 2 or 3 trailers out of that. But Game Freak doesn't want to do it that way. So with this lack of information, I feel like they're just kind of waiting for the big drop, and it should be sooner rather than later. If the Pokemon Company really wants to keep this momentum, then go into new Pokemon games, new Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Unite, and then the 25th Pokemon anniversary. They kind of just need to get this out of the way, have it rolling, and then Pokemon's going to be awesome for 2021. So I think they could have it done by October. Now, what about Daddy Nintendo? We can't have Pokemon be stepping on the toes of Nintendo's big releases, or we can't have Nintendo's big releases be stepping on the toes of Pokemon. I don't even know anymore. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee came out immediately before Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Smash Bros. Ultimate being the ultimate Smash game that everyone was waiting for, but then we also had the first main series Pokemon game on console, and they were released right next to each other. So it looks like, you know, Nintendo, they kind of don't care about those release things, and the current cycle for Nintendo games is also pretty scuffed right now. Like, we did get the All-Stars, that's going to be coming out very soon, and it turned out Animal Crossing New Horizons was like the biggest Nintendo Switch game, or like, you know, one of the biggest Nintendo Switch games immediately. So really the complaints about there not being like a large Nintendo lineup at this time kind of fall through, because we already have enough large games that people are excited for, and then enough like, you know, side series games, niche kind of fan-based games coming out as well. I'm looking forward to Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. That's actually going to be really interesting. So there's like a ton of games. There's not like the big games that people are expecting. However, we have Expansion Pass. We have the new Hyrule game, Hyrule Warriors, November 20th. There's no way they drop Hyrule Warriors at like the same time that we get the Crown Tundra. Like I said, there was at least a little bit of time between Pokemon Let's Go and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And I don't think they're going to change this to December. Like, that estimated release date, I think, is the upper cap. That's the high end. But when we dial it back, that still makes October, like late October a possibility, early November a possibility. It's not only going to be on the anniversary of Pokemon Sword and Shield or something like that, you know? So with this, like, November 20, that's cutting it close. And a lot of people got hyped for this game and the trailer. And everyone's still waiting for, you know, number 2, like Breath of the Wild 2. So this could get people into all kinds of weird things. Hyrule Warriors kind of snowballs this little side series, and then it gets super popular because people are down with it, and then that opens up for the new Breath of the Wild. Also, we can go to the earnings release for Nintendo to kind of see what they're planning on. You know, we have the primary Nintendo products by region. So we have like Famicom stuff, but we can also just go to the United States, kind of get that more global feel as to what's going on. I mean, Pikmin 3 Deluxe. That's also a big one. Pikmin 3, wait, what? Crazy. So Pikmin 3, October. But we already have Pikmin 3, so now it's just Pikmin 3 Deluxe, because we're seeing a lot of that, but that's still a big game. A lot of people skipped out on the Wii U, so getting Mario Maker 2 or something like that just feels good. Getting the chance to play Pikmin 3 if you're a big Pikmin fan, but you missed out on the Wii U and you didn't want to pay several $100s for a bunk console that's not going to do anything, this is still a big release, and it's considered a primary release by Nintendo. We have Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt and Necrodancer, so Legend of Zelda stuff still being strong. But yeah, that is in October. So do we get that mid-October similar to Pokemon X and Y? Does this open up like the perfect window for early November? For the Isle of Armor, or not the Isle of Armor, the Crown Tundra. We just had the Origami King, that launched, and then there's still Bayonetta 3, Metroid Prime 4, and then sequel Legend of Zelda, as well as new Pokemon Snap. So I mean, these, they're not even on table. They don't even seem 2020 at this point. They've been in the last couple of releases. Also kind of shows why anyone that's like, oh, Nintendo Direct Leak says Metroid Prime 4 is canceled and Breath of the Wild is pushed back, or something like that. I've seen stupid things in fake leaks like that. But, this is still there, and it's still kind of relevant. And it's going to just open up into the future, and then we have new Pokemon Snap here at the bottom. So, I mean, the 2021 lineup is looking pretty good, and Nintendo's doing a good job with what they have for 2020, I feel, just because of how amazing Animal Crossing has been. That's still getting DLC, and then, like I said, there's enough to kind of piece together the rest of what people want to see, especially now that they have the Mario All-Stars coming out. So, All-Stars September. We got Isle of Armor, I keep calling it Isle of Armor instead of just like the expansion pass of Crown Tundra. Crown Tundra November, some other little games to piece together, and then this surprise drop that a lot of people are going to be excited for. December might be light, but I don't think it matters at that point. You know, you just get a new console and then you get all the kiddies caught up with, like, you still need to play the first Breath of the Wild. Mario Odyssey is amazing. Get the All-Stars in. You still have Pokemon Sword and Shield and DLC, so a $90 bundle right there. Like, I don't think they need the major, massive December drop, and it's probably not even going to be the Crown Tundra if that was supposed to be it. Like, I don't think the Crown Tundra being sold December 10th or around holiday season is going to drive Nintendo Switch sales, Pokemon Sword and Shield base game sales, and then all that other stuff. And it's just so much to complete Pokemon Sword and Shield, the Isle of Armor, and then into the Crown Tundra for a very limited, like, holiday season. I think they just need to get out of the way now and then open up the rest of Pokemon as Nintendo opens up the rest of the future for itself. And we don't even know. There could just be a Nintendo Direct at any time. Just could announce it on Friday for Monday, or Monday for Wednesday, or whenever those Nintendo Direct announcements happen. Get a little bit of Crown Tundra. We get another, like, that could also be it. Get a little bit of Crown Tundra in mid-ish September. Mid-late September on that next Nintendo Direct. Early October, mid-October, gives us the a bigger Crown Tundra scale. Just kind of like keep it relevant. Week or two later, it comes out. Done. So the release date stuff is weird, and pretty much the point of me making this video is I just kind of want to show there's a lot more going on than just like fall 2020, it's coming out November 30th, or we're on the Sword and Shield release, and we're done. It's like, it's going to come down to that next trailer. I feel like 4 months between a Pokemon trailer, kind of too long. But then when that trailer drops, we're going to see what we had in the past, and October makes sense for a couple of other reasons, because we have the history, and we also just have the volume of game data inside of it, and then potentially how Nintendo does things, as well as another release that we can't have at exactly the same time. And that might also be another lesson that Nintendo learned from Animal Crossing New Horizons. Like, they don't have to keep the franchises that separate anymore, because a lot of Pokemon Sword and Shield players bought Ultimate. A lot of Ultimate players bought Animal Crossing. If you have a Nintendo Switch, you are just a Nintendo fan, and you're going to kind of grab all the cool titles at this point. And we're going to see how All-Stars performs. I know that actually retro gamers are mostly against All-Stars, because like you patch out backwards long jumping, And do you really have Mario 64? Or, you know, some of the other glitches and other fun things. Same thing with Sunshine. But also just, like, a good chance to catch up and have it. And, yeah, so it's like, yeah, we have All-Stars and all these other games kind of lining up. So, could still just be mid-November, Pokemon Sword and Shield anniversary. We're not, like, Crown Tundra doesn't even matter for the next 30 days. Until, like, late October, we might get a trailer that kind of opens it up for mid-November. That's still a possibility. But I do want to tell you guys, I think there's enough to suggest sooner. So, guys, enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.